should you size new primed brass? Well, if you're like me, I probably wouldn't have thought of that, but Kent Sakamoto here with Hodgdon Powders has changed my mind, and we saw some new primed brass with necks that are all distorted.
Correct.
So I'm guessing the answer is yes, absolutely you should.
Absolutely, yeah. A lot of hand loaders will treat new brass or new prime brass as ready to go. And it's not, because it's in bulk, whether it's in a box or a bag, it gets beat up. And we have examples here of flattened portions of the neck.
Oh, yeah.
So that's going to affect your consistency and accuracy. So we want to true that up. So you should at least neck size new brass, so that you make this nice and round.
So not necessarily full length size it, but that's what we have set up.
Right, we have it set up to full length size, and because it's prime brass, we don't want to deprime a live primer, so we have raised the expander decapping rod so that it will not knock out that primer.
Okay, so let's go ahead and let's get some of this resized, and let's show, it's kind of a before and after look, because I'm looking at this and that's definitely a flat side on that. And I'm not gonna lie to you, there's some times when I just grab brass, and especially if it's new prime brass, and I just start reloading, and then if it doesn't go in, I just give it more pressure.
Okay, so I've already applied some lube onto these cases. So you're gonna insert the case in the shell holder, come up, we've sized, you didn't hear the little tink of the primer coming out, the decapping rod didn't knock it out.
Or a boom.
Or a boom, yep. And then as we pull it out, that is the expander ball truing up the neck. And then you could look at this and see that it's nice and round now.
Yes.
It's no longer got that flat spot or that wavy neck to it.
So we've got a lot of brass to go through, I'm not gonna lie. This looks like some of these, but you should do all of them.
Right.
Not just ones with flat edges or...
If we're gonna go to the trouble to sort through looking for the bad ones, when they all have some sort of distortion to them, we might as well do them all. Just get in your head, you're gonna have to at least neck size new brass to start at a good point.
Excellent. All right, let's do a couple more. So setting up your sizing die, and when you're setting up a sizing die for this, you had a few tweaks to my technique that seemed to really work.
Right, so a lot of times hand loaders will, if you don't do it a lot of over and over consistently, you kind of tie different operations together and make mistakes. One of them is on sizing. I mean, we have several different types of sizing dies. There are full-length sizing dies, which size the body, the neck, bump the shoulder. We have neck sizing dies that only do the neck of the case. We have bushing sizing dies in both full length and neck only. We have bump dies, so there's a number of them. Well, they're all to be set the same, and what it is you're gonna put your shell holder in the press, you run the ram up, you screw the die down until it hits the shell holder, you lower it away, and you turn it down another 1/8 to 1/4 turn, and you'll feel resistance in the press. And that ensures that the case is going completely into the die, no matter what type of die it is. But some hand loaders, for whatever reason, feel that it hits, you want to back it off a complete turn. And that's actually tied to crimp at the end. So they make that mistake and back the die off. Well, now that little bit, 1/16 of an inch that the case is not going into the sizing die means it's not being sized properly. So if you have a tight chamber, and maybe it was range brass that was picked up, fired in a bigger chamber before, it may not go in. So a nice, easy way to check is once you've sized your first piece of brass, so these are primed, you could still do it, but normally it would be an unprimed piece of brass. Take your rifle, put the case in the chamber, close the bolt. If the bolt closes easily and it extracts out easily, you have sized properly for that chamber. If the bolt doesn't want to close or even go completely into battery, you've probably done something wrong. Either you have wrong brass, wrong die, or you've set the die up wrong.
Okay.
So.
All right. Well, if you're wondering, should you size your new prime brass? Absolutely. All of it. Every ounce of it. Don't be like me.
To see all of Gun Talk's content, go to guntalk.com, guntalktv.com, or sign up for the Gun Talk newsletter.